What it do? What it do? It's the Sports Wheelhouse. It is Tuesday night because we weren't feeling it last night. I mean, JD was feeling it. I was not feeling it, but it is the Sports Wheelhouse. We got things to talk about. What you got? What you drinking? What you drinking?
A little bit of water, like
Ooh,
H2O.
he, water sucks. Gatorade's
Oh,
better.
listen, I've been dried out for like the last couple of days, and it just so happens that it's basketball season. As of tomorrow, we have our first jamboree, and then we play
Ooh.
our first game Friday. So the season is upon us, dude. I guess time to rock.
I will tell you a little bit of interesting information from the officiating world. Ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Tomorrow at
Okay.
6:30 p.m., I will be attending a clinic to be trained as a basketball official.
Oh God.
I'm
Oh
not
man.
listen, I'm not gonna work my way up like I did with baseball. I mean, I'll probably stop at like little kid stuff, but
PIAA.
I mean that'll who knows by next year I'm sure I'll be a PIAA basketball official.
I mean, they need somebody. Like when I was up
Yeah,
there, it was pretty bad.
it was real bad, but like I also again same as with baseball. I know the game, but I know like unlike baseball, I'm starting at square one here, so
Yeah.
I I will be humbled walking onto the court with my whistle tomorrow to be trained.
Hey man, it is what it is, brother. You gotta start somewhere, you dig?
Listen, you appreciate that I'm at least trying, and I'm sure I'll have a basketball story or two.
I mean, I'll be able to help more with those with those type of stories.
Yeah, we'll call that instead of a hey blue, we'll call it courts in session.
Yeah. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
so for those of you that don't know, we you should know by now, but we have a wheel and we talk about stuff, and whatever the wheel lands on, the wheel lands on. And here's our wheel, and there's the ad that apparently now pops up on my wheel. So get your Aussie, and here we go, spinny spin,
No free promotion, dude.
dude. It's on my wheel. What do you want me to do?
Sure enough.
Okay. Now this is just the NBA in general.
As a
Okay.
whole. This is NBA as a whole.
NBA as a generality. And I saw somewhere that the NBA is losing an insane amount of money now. And the numbers are down and the viewership is down and it's just down, down, down. JD, what is going on in the NBA this season? Again, we're not talking about the Sixers. That is a whole separate topic. What is going on in the NBA this season that makes it just flat out kind of unwatchable?
I mean, there's a lot of injuries. I mean, and then normally and then it got stuff that like devalues the regular season with all these like mid-season tournaments and players sitting out, player load management and all that stuff. Even if teams are getting fined, they don't care. And so there's
Right.
no real incentive to really play, especially if your team is doing well without playing your main players. Um, there's no real reward to playing the regular season. They're going to have this little mid-season tournament where they've already started some of the little
I mean,
preliminary
it
games.
already started, and like I don't really care.
I didn't care to watch it. The court looked cool, but I didn't care. I didn't
Yeah.
care. So I didn't care to watch it. And on top of it, dude, like they're playing for like $100,000 or $500,000. Like they're already making enough money as it is. Like I don't want to watch games that they're going to potentially make even more ungodly amount of money, just for winning a little in-season tournament. The viewership is also down just as a basketball lover. Like the game is overly saturated. Players aren't. I don't feel like the main players are as determined as they used to be. Like we're still talking about a 20-year-old like playing career of like LeBron James. Like we're like that's what we're talking about right now. Like that's crazy to me.
And look, he's still putting up incredible big numbers, which is great. Um, but I just look, you know me, like I'm a big sports fan. I will be honest, I have not really forced myself to watch very much NBA this year.
And you're not going to have to. You're not. It's not going to really matter. On top of the Sixers not being, I guess, relevant, so to speak,
No, they're
in
bad.
in their typical terms, like you have like a lot of fan bases who are not in it to win it. Now, if you're a Knicks fan, you're watching that. This is the best start you've had in years.
I'm sorry, and hold on, because I remember doing the show with you. And why is it the best start they've had in years, sir? Because they added who, sir?
I don't think it's something they added cat.
I
I'm
think
t-
he adds a certain factor to the team. I think
I
Jalen
don't.
Brunson is playing exceptionally well.
I mean, he's played well for the last couple of years. I mean, think about it.
Correct.
They would be in the same position with with Randall. I just want it to be clear that right now in the East, the best team in the East right now is Cleveland.
Yo,
They're unbeaten. So,
homegrown. Listen, homegrown team, not
oh yeah,
homegrown, but
drafted, drafted team.
drafted, and the attitudes aren't there. And it's the same thing that the Thunder did a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah,
The Thunder went on a run with a bunch of no names because it was moderate egos and they were there for the game. However, it doesn't push you over the hump. It doesn't push you into that
no,
next echelon. So I think what's going to be interesting to me is as the season goes on, will that part make a difference?
I don't think it really will. I mean, I'm being honest. Like when it really comes down to like the bigger scheme of things, I don't think it's gonna matter. Because like good basketball is good basketball. And then on top of it, the Celtics are they're kind of like lulling a little bit. I mean, they're the Celtics. Miami's Miami, and then New York is showing to be. I think Miami is the greatest. I think they're the odds-on favorite to win the East.
Do you
Um,
really?
I do. I know Boston's still there. I got it. Boston's the
I
defending
mean, look,
champion.
the Bucks did the right thing. They fired Doc.
They did.
Since our
So
last show, they fired Doc.
we already knew Doc was on his way out. I mean, the dude he's done. He's washed. So I'm hoping that they leave him retired.
Dude is bad.
He was bad when we had him, and then he just continued his career
He got
after that.
exposed.
Yeah, and so um, I don't know. If I was a betting man, I would bet that the Knicks will be there in the Eastern Conference Final. It gets to I don't know, probably Celtics, probably.
I mean,
Just
you do know that today the Cavs lost their first game, right?
yeah, they might, but that's what they're 15-1.
They're 15-1, but they lost to the Celtics.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's fine. I'll take that. I mean that's a good
No, so
loss.
I think it's what's that?
That's a good loss. If I'm gonna take a
It's a
loss
good
to
loss, and it was
somebody,
only by 3. Like it was a good game. No, like I think that when you look overall at the NBA right now, like it's the storylines just aren't really storylining. Like, okay, so we mentioned the Doc thing, and Doc got fired. They're still trying to push the Ben Simmons narrative in Brooklyn. I don't know how that man is. I mean, like you watch him play, and he is just an entirely different person, right?
like,
Number one,
what's the
you saw
narrative?
the narrative is that well he's still this all pro player and he's still this he's not um he's just not like you look at for the Knicks anyway, not the Knicks, I'm sorry, for the Nets, because they got rid of everybody, right? He's one
Yeah,
of the best players on that team, and they're trying to sell tickets in Brooklyn saying Ben Simmons is a former all-star, former blah blah blah. And he's just not that guy. You watch him take warm-up shots, he's not there. You watch him still passing the ball off all weirdly. It's not like he's just not, he's barely even a bench player on that team.
I'm doing some research right here on Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons hasn't played a complete season in 7 years.
Correct. And that's kind of the point. So for Brooklyn to try to sell tickets off of that is crazy. For the Lakers to try to sell tickets off of Bronny James and actually being successful in doing it and then shipping his butt down to the developmental league where he's still struggling. I just think like the storylines aren't storylining this year.
I mean, and there will be, trust me, as the year creeps on, they'll do this thing after the All Star break, and everybody will get super serious, very similar to they do in the MLB. Like no one cares about the anything until the All Star break. No one really
Well,
cares,
nobody cares about the Sixers until the first round of the playoffs is done
right?
at this
I
point.
mean, and right now, like the way they're headed, they may not make the playoffs. I mean, chances
Right.
are they won't.
We have a whole Embiid and Sixer section. So again, I don't want to jump that. But
Yeah,
for me, and again, I really do enjoy basketball, but the storylines just aren't there. And they're trying to put it on Adam Silver and they're trying to put it on this and put on that. I don't know what the overall issue is personally.
The overall issue is that they put out a bad product. Like the product is bad, and no one's gonna put money into a product that's a bad product. Do you remember the thing? You remember the saying on did you ever watch American Gangster
Yeah.
with Denzel Washington? And he says, "Hey, people know Blue Magic because of the product." And that's just what you when you put out a crap product or a product that doesn't really matter until the end. Because you're gonna get the basketball lovers gonna watch it. A basketball lover is gonna watch the NBA, but a casual basketball fan is not gonna watch games in November because there's also NFL on right now, so it's competing
And
with NFL.
The NFL this year, and again, it's on the wheel, but the NFL this season has been really, really good.
Exactly. So now you have a struggling NBA with bad storylines competing against the NFL with great storylines and
Coming
historic
off
franchises.
of a Major League Baseball season that featured two of the best teams in the entire league as far as
Yeah,
fan bases go. I'm not saying like
yeah,
quality, I'm saying quantity.
yeah.
Playing in the World Series. And it wasn't a great World Series, but there was no place, there was no air for the NBA to kind of wedge themselves in. And I think that they're still trying to fight uphill. And it's coming off of a summer where you had a lot of the stars playing in the Olympics. So this is normally the spot where they're ramping up. These guys need a break.
I mean, yeah. I mean, can we call a spade real quick?
Let's do it.
Everyone, and I know it's on the wheel for Embiid, but think about how many players competed for their national team who are now burnt out or now sitting out games in the regular season of the NBA to try to catch a break and try to catch relaxation before the games really are mattering, before the All-Star break. Like,
But JD, these guys are paid millions of dollars. They don't deserve a break. They don't work a blue collar job.
I mean, they may not, but that's just the nature of the beast. Like, I don't see anybody else going out here uh playing multiple, like, was it 180 regular games? Or what is it? What's the regular season? Is it 100 games?
It's 82.
Okay, so it's 82 regular games, right? Dude, I played 26 games in high school ball, and our guys are freaking exhausted by March. They're like out of it. Then
Yeah.
we get a 30-day break to start right back in March, in April. So like, I mean, I don't know what these people want. Like, and then you're compounding that with injuries that may come about. I don't care what
And
you're paying
the
people.
wear and tear is crazy. And it's for me, like when you look at what's going on with the NBA, the other thing that you do have to consider a little bit is the fact that the WNBA season
It's
got
shorter.
so much credit, got so much recognition. And I'm not saying that people are not watching the NBA because they watch the WNBA, but now when you compare the two, the product isn't good.
No. And look at the storyline differences in the NBA and the WNBA. And I know we all push for, like, we want equal pay and equal rights for those ladies, and they will get it. They're pushing. They're on the cusp of getting what they deserve.
Yep.
The problem with that is that the WNBA has better storylines because there's less teams with better teams. So there's less of the teams, and they're more selective in the players that they get. To
Yep.
where the NBA now is like, it's so overly saturated. There's what, 32 teams or something crazy like that.
I mean,
The
it's
32 teams.
insane.
So there's
30
teams.
maybe. I think.
So there's.
I don't know.
I haven't watched the Clippers and God knows when. The Sacramento Kings.
Oh,
Like, so there's
but James Harden just reached number 2 all time on the 3-point shot.
I mean, great. I didn't care, and I still don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a part of the game where, like, it's so overly saturated that nobody knows what they should be doing at this point in the game when it comes to the NBA. And I'm, for one, am not like super excited about the NBA until after All-Star break, and then we see what we kind of get. And
Yeah,
then
because there's no point in doing it, and especially as a Sixers fan, again, we're gonna get to it, but especially as a Sixers fan, there's no point.
No, not right now. Like, right now, if you're a Sixers fan, you need to hold on. Like, maybe some things will be changing here in a little bit, but you gotta wait sometime.
All right. With that being said, let's talk. Since we talked about the NBA in general, let's talk about the NFL in general. Now we gotta be careful. We cannot discuss the Eagles or the Steelers because that's on the wheel.
Well, damn. Then what are we talking about?
Just the NFL in general. The NFL in general. So one thing that I want to start with the NFL in general is the offensive rookie of the year race.
That's an easy win. That's easy.
Careful now, because
No, it's
it
easy.
was Jaden Daniels
It's still Jaden name.
by a long shot, and now Bo Nix has creeped into the race.
Man, stop that shit. Stop.
I'm not going to stop because Jaden Daniels had one bad game, not even a bad game. He had one unremarkable game, followed by Bo Nix putting up stupid numbers. Bo Nix has now more touchdown passes than Jaden Daniels. His Broncos are in a very competitive division where I believe they're the division leaders or near the top. And Jaden Daniels is now in charge of the number 2 Commanders.
Okay, so I want to throw this out there.
Now, by the way, I'm just being a jerkwad. Jaden Daniels is the offensive rookie of the year.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out.
Jaden Daniels has played the Eagles and the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been competitive in both those games. Those are his 2 of his losses. So, to be completely honest, I don't even know who Bo Nix has played against right to this point.
I mean, he plays for the Broncos, so whoever the Broncos normally play against.
Broncos don't. They don't
move the needle. Also have Sean Payton teaching him how to play NFL quarterback. Jaden Daniels has Dan Quinn as his head coach.
And he's a defensive guy.
Is a defensive guy, which is why they had to bring in Cliff Kingsbury.
I won't take anything, and I'll go ahead and say this. I won't take anything from Bo Nix. Bo Nix and his.
Listen, I'm shocked that Bo Nix is having the season that he is. I thought he was drafted a little too high, and apparently wrong-o.
Dude, we can't say that because in theory, the last couple of years, it's been the land of the replacements and the subs and all this. So a rookie quarterback has just as much chance to be successful in this league as anyone else. So this is not the year, or this is not the NFL where age or expertise is going to win the day. It's who's going to be available. It's who is the most healthy and the most available on that particular Sunday. Like, hell, for crying out loud, they had Andy Dalton playing for a while. Like,
they benched Bryce Young, put in Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
He looked
just to bring him in.
He looked okay. He looked okay. And then Bryce Young has kind of looked pretty good again. Same thing happened in Indianapolis, right? They benched Anthony Richardson because he took a playoff. They put in Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco looks atrocious. And now Anthony Richardson is back in the game. The backup quarterback is so interesting to me. And I'm not saying this as an Eagles fan because I love my starting quarterback and I do not want to see Kenny Pickett for any reason.
You should.
I want to bring up the New York Giants.
New York football Giants.
The New York football Giants, who finally decide to correct the error of their ways and end the Daniel Jones error by putting his ass on the bench and third-string quarterback. This should have happened years ago. We knew when he was drafted that he was a mistake. And then they double down. They get rid of Saquon Barkley, who was arguably the NFL MVP this year, if not at least the Offensive Player of the Year. Pay Daniel Jones $40 million. And now they are benching him. Not for their backup quarterback, Drew Lock. No. Tommy Cutlets is back behind center.
We're back.
Is back behind center for one reason and one reason only.
Because he gets
tickets. He
gets it. He gets it. He's like Minshew Magic, or what's my man that used to wear the gold chains that play for that with the beard?
Jeremy Lin.
No. Not Jeremy. The white guy. He commentates sometimes now on Amazon. Fitzmagic, yeah. Fitzmagic. Like
he's a cutesy story. He's not an NFL quarterback. He's a cutesy story.
He's a gimmick, and we love a gimmick. We're suckers. We love a good gimmick if we can get.
It's going to get us through the season for the New York Giants.
Yes, of course. Yes, you're right. Let's just do what we got to do to sell these tickets because we pay these people way too much money, and we need to put together our deteriorating stadium.
Yes or no? Brian Daboll's fired before the end of the season.
No.
Fired at the end of the season.
Yeah, because they got to pin it on somebody.
Yeah. Okay. Now, speaking of pinning it on somebody, we're going to Dallas.
These
We
guys stink.
all we all know that it is Jerry Jones's problem.
Oh
It
yeah, but
is
that's fine.
Jerry.
McCarthy. McCarthy's
It
gone.
is
He's out of
it
here,
is Jerry Jones's fault. It is Jerry Jones's problem. Jerry Jones is my favorite Dallas Eagle. I got to be honest.
dude. He
Um,
is my favorite. He's the best manager of every other team in the NFC East except for the Cowboys.
there is no doubt in my mind that Mike McCarthy survives this season. I would be shocked if he survives this week.
He's gonna survive because they got rid of Dak's hurt. But the problem where he won't survive is in the offseason when they're
But
calling
they
for his
weren't
head.
playing well when Dak was there.
Right,
The
but
issue with
now,
the Dallas Cowboys was they invested no money in the running game.
dude, they went back and they got Zeke back. Like you should have knew it was a terrible experiment to go get the guy you fired for the other guy you hadn't gotten. Like
It's
it's
insane.
it's bad business, man. And then at first, of course, they start off every year saying that they're gonna win it all, and you
And
got
then
like
they
all
take
these,
off.
and then they, and then the season happens, and then as the season goes around, there's more people who play in Dallas Cowboys for more significant games than what the Dallas Cowboys have ever played for. Like,
Since we're going on the Cowboy, we're going on the coach firing carousel.
who else you got?
How has Doug Peterson not been fired yet?
They suck. Like it's not him. They
They
actually suck.
are awful, and they got downright mollywopped by the best team in football, the Detroit Lions, but to
Yeah,
an embarrassing way. And for me, for the Doug Peterson thing, it all goes back to who he associates himself with. Why did he get fired from the Philadelphia Eagles? Because he stayed attached to Press Taylor. Who was his offensive coordinator in Jacksonville? Press Taylor.
we can't
Doug
blame Press
Peterson
Taylor for
is
walking
going
in.
to get fired because he will not get rid of Press Taylor.
I don't think it's Press Taylor. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not Press Taylor. He don't got nobody. Like I looked at that roster the other day, and
Yeah, I mean, they had a fire sale. They had a fire sale, and then Christian Kirk broke his collarbone. He's out for the year.
that's what I'm saying, man. They don't got nobody. They got Trevor Lawrence out there running for his life.
Trevor Lawrence ain't even playing. You got Mac Jones huddling with Travis Etienne. You've got a
But that's what
good
I'm saying.
defense. You got a good defense down there. I just think that Doug Peterson needs to go be the offensive coordinator or a quarterback's coach somewhere. I don't look. I've said it many times. He did not win a Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl. He did not win a Super Bowl.
Hey man, he was there, and that's just what it
He
is.
was there,
He's
and he's going to be the only Super Bowl winning coach for a while.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm
No, we're going to tell. We got the Eagles coming up. So I do think that this is the year that Doug Peterson's going to get fired, and then he will not make a return as a head coach for a while.
I also agree with that.
The Jets have fired everybody. It's hysterical. And they're going to fire Aaron Rodgers this offseason, which is even more hysterical. He's got to just go over to the Vikings and complete his trifecta of the Favre Chronicles. But they don't need a quarterback because, I mean, they've got one on the mend and one who's leading them to, a playoff berth. He's doing pretty well. I just look, the NFL is much more exciting this year. It's much more exciting. There's no doubt in my mind.
And this is why the NBA is having problems right now. It's because they don't have any storylines that we could even go to. Like it took us no time to run through the storylines of the NFL. I mean,
Correct.
and some of that is because of the timing. So some of this isn't even on the NBA. No one's going to care at the beginning of the NBA because you have so much time to kind of catch up. But the NFL is in full swing right now, and you got teams that are really making a push.
And we're at the halfway point. And we got teams like the game the other night, which was the Chargers and the Bengals. I mean, that was a damn good football game. And that was a Bengals team that really needed a win. And they fought all the way back. And then they blew it. You got two Harbaughs. You had over the weekend, you had the two longest tenured coaches in the NFL and the Ravens versus the Steelers, and just a straight up bloodbath. I mean, you've got really good football, and the storylines write themselves.
You're not having to go check. There's nobody sitting in their house like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna watch NFL tonight. Like I'm not big on watching NFL unless it's the Steelers or the Eagles or somebody. But I've literally been watching the Commanders. I want to see how good these guys could possibly be. Because no one thought they were going to be good. And then you got guys like the Ravens, and then there's the Bills. The Bills put on a show the other night.
But
Like
everybody knew that was going to happen because Josh Allen in the regular season gets it done against the Chiefs. He has to get it done against the Chiefs in the postseason in order for everybody to stop with the Embiid talk about him.
I mean, I don't know if we let's not say that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to go and say that about the guy. But I will say that he does have to show improve.
He's
He does have
got
to
to
show.
beat the Chiefs. He is literally buying into the full epitome of being a Buffalo Bill, which is close but no cigar.
I mean, you're not lying. I will give you that. You're not lying about it. He
It's the
does need to
entire
go.
Buffalo franchise.
He does need to go do this thing. He needs to go. He needs to go figure it out. Like I don't know how he's gonna figure it out, but he needs to go figure it out, and he needs to go figure it out soon.
Okay,
Because
Johnny and I are having a debate right now. Last part of the NFL in general. Johnny and I have been having a debate. Give me going. I don't care 5-1 or 1-5. Who are your top 5 MVP candidates right now? Now, before I say that, we know that it's a quarterback award. So ignore that for a second. If you could, give me your top 5 MVP candidates at this point in the NFL season.
ignore quarterbacks.
You can. You can also go realistic, which is all quarterbacks all the time.
All right, I'm gonna go Saquon Barkley Eagles.
Are you going 5-1 or 1-5?
1-5. So he's my top.
Okay.
He's in the league right now. I'm gonna go. I hate saying this. I think you gotta put Derrick Henry in that thing, or Lamar Jackson. I think I'm gonna go more Lamar Jackson though. More Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna go Josh Allen. I'm gonna go. Can we put Dan Quinn? Not Dan Quinn. Can we put what's our man from the is that Goff?
Jared Goff.
I'll put Jared Goff in there.
But he just threw 5 picks in the game.
I don't give a shit. Like I don't care. Put him in there.
Won because they still won.
It doesn't matter. Like it's day one. I'm gonna put Jared Goff, and then I'll go just for shits and giggles. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go TJ Watt. That's it. At my 5 spot. That dude's a tank.
So yours is the unrealistic list, which I like.
Yeah, it's unrealistic. I mean, it's gonna go to a quarterback. So I mean,
right. So mine has kind of been moving up and down. Like I'm doing my own little Vegas odds.
Did you say offensive player? Did you say offensive player or just MVP?
I said MVP.
Oh, okay. Right.
Up until this weekend, Mahomes was my number 1. Not because he was playing great, because he's been playing like dog crap, but because he was the quarterback of a 9-0 football team.
Fair enough.
Because he lost, he plummets down my list a little bit.
Okay, let's see what you got.
All right, so for me, I'm going 5-1. I still have Jared Goff in the top 5.
I knew it.
He is number 5 for me because that Lions team is really good. They have an exceptional running game, but he is leading that team to victory.
Facts.
Right? When Aiden Hutchinson went down, everybody thought that team was done.
Yeah. They thought they were cooked.
Not true. Number 4, and this is a split right now, like kind of like a co-MVP, because I think it should be Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley is a lot higher up than anybody else. Same thing with my other later on, which is Lamar/Derrick Henry. Saquon/Hurts. Hurts would get more recognition because he's the quarterback, but Saquon should be in the top 2 or 3 for MVP.
Okay, true.
He doesn't have the touchdown numbers. That's going to definitely bring him down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Mahomes is 3 because it's Patrick Mahomes. He's still got to be up there. Even though he's had a bad season, they're still 9-1.
For right now.
Lamar Jackson/Derrick Henry is number 2. But the more games that Lamar Jackson has really poor, like he did against the Steelers, where they have him throwing the ball 30 times, and Derrick Henry is neutralized.
That's going to be the recipe to beat him for the rest of the year, by the way.
That is. My number 1 is Josh Allen. Josh Allen right now is my front runner for MVP. Because look who he has thrown the ball to. Josh Allen just beat the Chiefs with Mac Hollins as one of his key receivers.
In your defense, though, And I will say this: it was just going to be it's going to be more of a thing to you. Like he's beating them with his legs as well. And
Right, he's being the most valuable player on the Buffalo Bills.
yeah, and then if we can be completely honest about it, the Chiefs are going to take way more losses as the second half of the year
Yeah,
comes.
they're not a great team.
No,
They've got really good defense, but they're not a great team.
and they've come back on a lot of teams just because they let Patrick Mahomes come back on them. But to
Which
be
is why
honest with
he's
you,
top for me still.
but he's not. They're not playing great. And a good team like one of these Steelers teams, like they went into the Bills, like one of the Steelers are going to knock their head off. I promise you.
I think offensive player of the year, you can look at Saquon, you can look at Derrick Henry, because that'll go to a non-receiver or that'll go to a non-quarterback. Yeah, I mean the awards are interesting for defensive rookie of the year. Can I speak my piece?
Who are you gonna say?
Quinyon Mitchell needs to be in the consideration. What's going to hold? First off, I don't know a lot of defensive rookies, so that's going to bring him down. What's going to crush him is the dropped interceptions. If he starts collecting some interceptions, he's a front runner because he is straight up neutralizing some huge name receivers as a rookie.
Do you guys have any rookie defensive players?
Quinyon Mitchell.
That's all. That's all.
Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. I mean, we got a couple guys.
I like DeJean. I like DeJean a little more than I like Mitchell.
I like his swag, but again, if you look at the numbers, and again, we'll cover this tomorrow on the AAT Bird Show. If you look at the numbers of who he has shut down, like Terry McLaurin didn't even get a target on Thursday night. Not even a target. They did not throw anywhere near him, and he was one-on-one with Quinyon most of the time. He has shut down Jamar Chase. He has shut down Chris Olave, and like he's shut down some guys.
I'm not going to argue with you there, but it's a two-headed monster though too. Because the other side is
interceptions.
Yep, and then you got DeJean on the other side. Like they're not having an easy day on either one of those guys. And then they still got Slay every so often. He'll come back and show you that he's not completely washed.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see what happens as the season continues, to see if Quinyon continues to kind of evolve a little bit.
I could have just talked about Steelers. We were right there on it.
I know. We'll see what the wheel says. The wheel says we're going to college football land. Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick, does Georgia have a reason to be pissed off?
No, they have zero reason.
They're still going to be in the. They're still going to be in the top 12.
They will this week. It's getting more interesting with the ACC. It's getting way more interesting with the ACC, and I think the ACC, I think they put out the new one tonight or tomorrow. Tonight, the new one came out. And so they're going to show their hand. I think it came out about an hour ago.
Came out about an hour ago, so I'm trying to find it. Where's my bracket?
If they don't tip their hand, I think they're showing everybody where they're kind of going with everything. You got some people checking in. We got Cindy. What's up, Cindy?
Hey, Cindy.
Got some people checking in.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find an image of the bracket. Let's see if this is the one that they just released.
If you go to ESPN, I'll probably get it. I mean, I'll go on ESPN. But I just want to see where they got it.
Okay. So here we go. The most recent one has open image, a new tab. Hold on.
I got it right here. All right, so we got.
I didn't zoom. All right, go ahead.
Okay, hold on. This one has. Okay, that's a predictor. It's got Boise State.
Here we go. So based on the November 18th ranking. So right now the buys. So you have Oregon winning the Big Ten. You have Texas winning the SEC. You've got Miami winning the ACC, and you've got Boise State winning the Mountain West.
Hell no! Like this is wrong.
Which puts, and listen to some of these matchups. Some of these matchups are crazy, right? So
I know BYU, Ohio State,
Alabama versus Notre Dame.
Hey, no.
in a play-in game. You got BYU versus Ohio State in a play-in game. You've got Ole Miss versus Indiana in a play-in game. And you've got Georgia versus Penn State.
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing right now. Like something is off.
It's not, though.
It is. Okay, right now, the concept ball rankings. Here we go. Sorry. The concept ball rankings as of right now are Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4, Indiana 5, Notre Dame 6, Alabama 7, Miami 8, Ole Miss 9, Georgia 10, Tennessee 11, Boise State 12, and SMU 13, BYU 14, Texas A&M 15, Colorado 16, Clemson 17, South Carolina 18, 19 is Army, and 20 is Tulane.
Right. And what's crazy about that for me is BYU gets a spot, right? BYU gets a spot, but Tennessee gets bumped out.
Because, okay, you got to think about it. So what's going to happen is, because you got to think about it, the top 12 teams get in. So the cutoff is these teams with 9-1.
Correct.
Because the teams at 9-1 are your BYUs all the way up. The only 2-loss team that is considered in the playoff is Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Tennessee. Now,
on top of that, out of the top 5, 4 of them are in the Big Ten.
So check this out. Listen to how crazy this.
Indiana play this weekend.
Yeah. So check this out. This is where it's going to get very interesting, because the last game of the regular season, Clemson played South Carolina.
Okay. Who, by the way, big win. What was it, last weekend or 2 weeks ago?
Big win for South Carolina. Yes. And so normally that 17-18 matchup would not matter in most cases, especially for a South Carolina team that is 7-3.
Every game is a playoff game right now.
Yes, every game is a playoff game as of right now if you're trying to fight to get in. Because secretly, what's going to probably end up happening is one of these teams, I think Texas A&M has a big game this weekend. Texas A&M plays Auburn this weekend, and then they play Texas on the last game of the season, the last game of the regular season. So they could knock themselves out. So there are teams that are ahead of like the 17-18 that'll get bounced down because they'll take losses. Boise State, however, will not.
Nothing. Boise State's got no problem this weekend with Oregon State.
No, they won't.
Colorado's got no problem this weekend. Ole Miss has no problem this weekend with Mississippi State. Georgia and Georgia Tech is interesting on paper. But that's about it.
Kansas and Colorado could be an interesting conversation. Could be interesting going for this week. But like, look at these other teams. Like Georgia's going to draw UMass and then Georgia Tech to end the season. So they're okay. Georgia's just going to wait it out. Ole Miss, however, Ole Miss and Tennessee are not, because Tennessee has Vandy to end the season with. And Vandy has
Texas A&M against each other this week.
Right. No, Texas A&M is that's in 2 weeks.
I'm sorry. I skipped a week ahead. I apologize.
That's 2 weeks right now, and then you'll have Miami
and Ohio State play. I knew that was this weekend, right? Miami is no struggle this weekend. Ole Miss and Florida, that's not a struggle. SMU has no problem with Virginia.
Miami is a weird conversation because I'm pretty sure Wake beat somebody early in the season. And if you remind you, Georgia Tech is coming off a loss to Georgia Tech. So it's not like they can't be beat. They've been really close to getting beat, and Syracuse could possibly
Georgia and Massachusetts this weekend. Like I said, I skipped a week ahead.
Yeah, so you got Miami. Miami will have, let me see. Syracuse is their last spot. So Syracuse has beaten
Texas and Kentucky. That's nothing.
They beat NC State. They beat Duke. They've also beat Georgia Tech. They beat Georgia. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at.
Wait, can I throw in a little wrinkle into the pot here?
Please do. Please do.
One game that I am very excited to watch at 7 o'clock on Peacock on Saturday night.
Notre Dame
versus Army.
Oh, that's what it was.
Undefeated Army Black Knights.
I did see that. I saw it in my prospects, and I didn't want to talk about it but I think this is the perfect time to talk about it because Notre Dame is known for dropping a freaking a good game. And this year, that game is against 19 Army. That's not against a big
undefeated Army.
They beat.
If Army wins this game, should they be in consideration for the top 12 as an undefeated team?
No.
The whole bracket system is wrong. If you're undefeated, you deserve a shot in the playoffs.
Listen,
now, I'm not saying you get a bye. I'm not saying you get a bye. I'm saying you got to make the run. You got to play against these big teams. Take your blowout loss if that's what's going to happen. But if you are undefeated and nobody has beaten you, you deserve a spot in the top 12. And I will die on that hill.
First of all, Notre Dame, even if they beat Army, they still got to go play USC to end the season.
USC sucks.
They may suck, but there's still a chance you could lose to them. And then Army won't play anybody.
Marcus Mel. Wait, are you saying it's about my point, Marcus Mel? Or are you saying about JD's point where they're going to blow a game? Because I think if Army is undefeated, regardless, they deserve put them at number 12 and let them run the super gauntlet. I don't care.
No. Okay, so let me just throw this out there. We've always had these conversations.
One of my favorite former students right there.
Okay. I'm okay with letting them play. But we've seen time after time with these teams they let get in, and it's not good football. It shouldn't be the most deserving. It should be the best teams.
Whoa.
Not most deserving.
Whoa. Disagree.
Not most deserving.
The best teams are undefeated or 1 or 2 losses.
No. That doesn't mean that.
Right. Yes.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me explain to you why I say
they haven't beaten anybody.
Huh?
I know they haven't beaten anybody.
So they're not the best team. They're just the most deserving. And the most deserving doesn't get you anything in this life. We all know that. Like, it's so hold on. The best teams are undefeated. Sometimes the best undefeated teams are undefeated because they haven't played anybody. You throw Army in the SEC, they don't win a game.
Right. And look, I'm realistic. Like I'm looking at who Army
they
has
play nobody.
Listen, I'm looking at who they played. So they beat Lehigh. They beat Florida Atlantic. They beat Rice. They beat Temple. They beat Tulsa. They beat UAB. They beat East Carolina. They beat Air Force. They beat North Texas. This is their only game against a ranked team. I understand the words that I am saying. I am aware of it. I understand the words I am saying. But that's why I'm telling you, put them at a 12 spot, right? I'm not saying they should be the number 1 team, right? And when it was 4 teams, I get your point about being the best teams because then you really can't spare a spot for a team that hasn't played anybody. But you got 12 spots now. You're telling me not 1 spot goes to a team that hasn't lost a game?
What I'm saying is that's why the 12 spots matter even more now because then it's not about this whole playing the politics game. You need to put the best for
the 4 spots, the 4 buys are major conference winners. So they've already taken care of the best teams.
No, they're the best teams of the conference. Because you got Boise State still in there, and Boise State ain't played nobody. They're in the same category with the Blackhawks or whatever.
The Army Black Knights, sir.
The only game Boise State has lost is to Oregon. But they beat all these other teams. They're small teams. With the team that they really should have beat, they lost to.
They lost to Oregon by 3.
Okay, but what I'm saying is all these other teams.
And they beat Portland State. They beat a ranked Washington State team handedly. Utah State.
They weren't ranked at the time.
Beat a ranked UNLV.
UNLV is not ranked either.
They're number 23 right now.
UNLV is not. I'm looking at their schedule.
I'm looking at their schedule too. Boise State is currently 12. UNLV is number 23. Washington State
UNLV is not. They're not ranked at all. UNLV is not in the top 25.
Which bracket? I don't even know which bracket like Google is
Don't go
pulling
off
these
the
numbers
AP.
from.
Go off of the college
U,
football. Don't go. Just grab their
UNLV
name.
is
If you just,
23.
I'm looking at them right now. They're not 23. UNLV is nowhere in there. They're not even ranked. I'm on ESPN right now looking at the playoff the
Yeah,
list.
23 is Missouri according to the playoff bracket.
Yeah,
UNLV is
no one.
24. UNLV is 24 according to the playoff bracket.
I'm looking at the same. We can't be looking at the same numbers. Then. UNLV is trash. Maybe for basketball. Maybe looking at basketball.
UNLV is 24 right now. My
Okay.
point stays the same. Listen. All right, so now we're all looking at different numbers. I have Illinois at 25, Marcus.
I don't know what you got. Just go to ESPN. That's the easiest way to do it. That's who's running the college football playoff. You said UNLV. UNLV is 24 right now. They're actually considered. It's actually considered not ranked though.
Right, because they're not in the top 12. I get that.
So they're considered not ranked. Illinois is not ranked.
Listen to me. Listen. Linda, listen.
Linda, I'm listening to you.
Linda, listen. Linda,
I'm listening to you.
If you have not lost a game all season, there has got to be a single spot in the top 12 for you.
Okay. And here's where I'm going to give you some like information that you need to know. This stuff is all fluid. So as teams lose
of course,
and teams win, and sometimes losing to the Army or losing to Boise State knocks you out of contention. It's cool to say, okay, they're a good team. But I promise you, if you throw any one of these teams in the ACC or SEC right now, they're going to lose more games. The Pac-12 has no one in it. They're just like two teams. Like these other conferences, like the Big Ten, like that's a conference. The SEC, that's the ACC, that's a conference because they're playing competition every week. That's why the Power Five matters.
I agree, which is why they have 4 guaranteed spots. There are 4 guaranteed spots for those conference winners. And right now, out of the top 5, 4 of those teams are from the Big Ten. There's going to be an influx of Big Ten teams. Here's what I'm saying. If Army somehow manages to beat Notre Dame this weekend, okay, it should do 2 things. Number 1, it should bury any chance of Notre Dame playing in this top 12 because your 2 losses are to Northern Illinois and now an Army team that hasn't beaten anybody. Okay, it should bury them.
I will not only see that, but I will raise you. Yes, I will raise you, and I will say yes. That's correct for Notre Dame.
Right, but for Notre Dame. If Army manages to beat Notre Dame, Army deserves to at least be in sniffing distance of that top 12.
I think if Army beats a number 6 Notre Dame, then they'll get in the 12, 13, 14 range.
Which, like I said, sniffing distance. So we agree, but we just don't agree on the key principle of if a team is undefeated, they should have a chance at the national championship.
Yeah, because of the fact that like not all undefeated teams are created equal. They're just not. Because if that's the case, then like for a long time, people said about Clemson. Clemson don't play anybody but SEC teams. Okay, cool. When we start playing Georgia, we start playing SEC teams, and it happens, right? So if you're to be honest, if you're going to do this every year, if your strength of record is trash, because when they put it in the predictor, they're going to say strength of record. That's one of the things that they qualify. If your strength of record is low or strength of competition is low, you're not going to get in because you won't meet the metrics in order to put you there. However, Combo,
okay.
Go ahead.
Mr. Dean, I got a question.
Go ahead, sir.
So then shouldn't there be then some sort of system where Notre Dame is not allowed to pick their own schedule?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And that's why I've been saying that Notre Dame doesn't deserve a spot in the playoff until they become a part of a conference.
Because Notre Dame literally has gotten in even to the 4 and the 6.
Yeah.
And they get mollywopped in the first rounds because they get to choose who they play.
And here's an even more part of it. This is the bigger part of it. So you dodge a conference championship game every year, which is an extra game for those in a Power 5. And yet they still put you in every year as if you have the same caliber of quality wins. You will have quality wins, but you also handpick those wins, and you're not playing by the rules that everybody else is playing by. Like you're not playing the conference championship game. You're more likely than not, you're having more of a cupcake middle of your schedule where you're able to get healthy when everybody else is playing the gauntlet. Like the Big Ten's playing a gauntlet every week. The SEC's playing a gauntlet. And depending on what side of the ACC you're on, you're playing a gauntlet every week. Then to go play in a conference championship game that may or may not weaken you for the college football playoff.
Same.
So Notre Dame, no, they don't deserve to be in. I don't think they've ever deserved to be in. And yes, their loss happened early in the season, which I think they helped. But the fact that Alabama continues to get in no matter who they lose to and when they lose, they lost to Vandy in Tennessee. So it's wild.
Sorry, I was reading something. My fault. Listen, it's exciting
for sure.
And once again, I was able to hang tight with you on it.
Dude, I'm with you. And this is one a year that's been like really, really. I knew we were gonna get this.
Well, this is gonna be easy. So this is the current tab, and I don't know if I can zoom in at all. I'm gonna try. Did that make it any bigger or smaller?
Or
do nothing?
I didn't do anything. You can just make it the whole screen.
Oh, there you go. All right. So once again, they have released the Baseball Hall of Fame situations.
Oh, that makes it better.
Right. They've released the Baseball Hall of Fame situations. First off, Baseball Hall of Fame is an absolute joke because they don't always put people in.
No.
Which is crazy. Okay. Looking at these names, the names that are in italics are first-time balloteers. There is one name that I know will be in the Hall of Fame with a stupid percentage of the votes. Should be 100%, but somebody will be a jerk and say no. Ichiro Suzuki will be a Hall of Famer this year.
Where do you see his name? Oh, yeah.
Ichiro, third column, third name.
Yeah. But you got CC Sabathia, too, though. That's like...
CC Sabathia is not a no-doubt Hall of Famer.
I don't know, bro. Like, that's...
He will be in the Hall of Fame. I think he'll be... He might make it this year, but he
and
also
this is A-Rod, right?
That is A-Rod. He will not make it for one... No, he won't.
He will.
No, he won't. First off, his name is not in italics because he is a part of he's a recurring name. Alex Rodriguez will not make the Hall of Fame because steroids.
Bro, he's going to make it.
Not with this voting ballot.
Is this Manny Ramirez above him?
That is Manny Ramirez above him.
I like Manny Ramirez. I think Manny Ramirez can make it.
So listen, we got to go two schools of thought here. Who do I think deserves to get in? Bobby Abreu. I love him. He's a homer pick. He doesn't deserve to get in. Beltran, no. Burrell, no. Carlos Gonzalez, no. Curtis Granderson, no. Felix Hernandez, absolutely. He's the dude from Seattle with the curl, like the sideways hat. Dude was dominant. King Felix, he goes in.
Okay. How many dudes have a championship? A World Series?
Abreu has one. I think Beltran has one. I feel like Burrell. I mean, that's actually not a qualifying factor in major. So it's weird because all other sports, they look at, do you have championships as kind of like a first thing. In Major League Baseball, they literally look at individual statistics.
So you don't even, if you're like a Cy Young winner.
Ben Zobrist, the last name on the list, he won a World Series with the Cubs. He is not a chance, less than a 0% chance that he makes the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Okay, but like we talked about CC Sabathia.
CC Sabathia, I think, does have a chance.
CC has a chance, dude.
I think CC has a very good chance. But like I look at like Jimmy Rollins has not made the Hall of Fame. Right? One of the best shortstops in the 2000s. Chase Utley has not made the Hall of Fame.
I think if I gotta give him a chance to make it though, it'll be in this one. As I don't see anybody that just sticks out like that'll just take his spot. I do like Abreu.
I like Abreu as a homer pick. Andrew Jones not being in the Hall of Fame is crazy.
Yeah, but dude, I'm gonna be honest, man. I know we're saying about the whole steroids thing, but like I don't know if you can keep A-Rod out of it this time.
They kept Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa out.
Right.
He's not going in.
I'm a betting man. I think he goes in this time.
And baseball is a finicky sport where they don't care if you die, they're still not letting you in. Pete Rose is still not getting in the Hall of Fame.
But I don't think you can put A-Rod and Pete Rose in the same conversation.
Both cheated in a game.
I mean, if you're talking about cheating, like all of them were cheating in some sense. And I think, honestly, if I'm being completely honest about it, if you haven't noticed, like A-Rod's starting to put his neck into like more MLB stuff.
Sure.
And so he's in, like, think about it. You don't hear from Sammy Sosa. You don't hear from Mark McGuire. You don't hear from those guys unless they're talking about
coaching right now.
Who's he coaching?
He coaches.
I'll look it up. I got some time on my hands.
I want to say it's an NL team. I feel like it's the Cardinals, but I could be wrong.
Well, this dude's in ownership. And so that's the best way to figure it out. All right, so right now he's with San Diego Padres. Listen.
Yeah, he's coaching for San Diego, right?
It does not say. Does not say right now. So it doesn't say if he's coaching.
I could have sworn he was like a hitting coach somewhere.
It doesn't look like he is. Nope.
Okay, so a couple years ago he was coaching. He was coaching as the hitting coach of St. Louis, hitting coach of the Dodgers, hitting coach of San Diego. He's stepped away after 9 seasons as a coach. He steps down as the Padres coach. Okay, so he was, and now he's not.
Okay, so I'm not a betting man, but we'll make some type of bet. I think Alex Rodriguez gets in this time.
Not a chance.
This isn't a star-studded. I mean, you're gonna get your Suzuki in there. You'll probably get CC Sabathia. You'll probably get Abreu, hopefully, in Beltran. Adam Jones, you said?
No, so listen, there are guys that I think should be in the Hall of Fame, but they will not make it into the Hall of Fame for very simple reasons. So for me, looking at this list, right, I think Ichiro goes in and he should have 100% of the vote because he dominated in Japan and over here. He'll go down. He'll get 99 out of 100 because somebody will pull a Derek Jeter and be like, no, because nobody should get 100%. It's stupid. It happens. I think CC absolutely should get in. I don't know if he gets in this time. I think that Dustin Pedroia, because of everything he did with the Red Sox, will get in, but not this time. I think Felix Hernandez gets in, but not this time. So for me, I could easily see the only player getting enough this time is Ichiro.
How many players go in the Hall of Fame a year?
There is no set number. And most importantly, you don't have to put people in.
But what I'm saying is, but every year somebody goes in.
No, they don't. There have been years where nobody had enough.
I'm going to tell you right now, somebody is going in this year.
Not from this writers thing. Right? Like I hear what you're saying. Not always from this writers thing. Sometimes the writers are so finicky that they do not put somebody in.
I got a feeling Alex Rodriguez is going.
He's not. Literally not a chance until they all. Because here's the thing: if they let A-Rod in, and again, I think he should be in there.
Did A-Rod get caught cheating?
Yes.
Like how many times?
Just one.
How many times did Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa get caught?
Officially 0. Sammy Sosa, I think, had a corked bat at one point.
I got a feeling that Alex Rodriguez money long. They money in as long as out.
Here's what I'm telling you. If you let A-Rod in, you are opening up the floodgates of the steroid era in baseball.
I think we should. Just open it up. Like, just let him in. Like, just let him do it. You can't take those memories away.
Okay.
Like, I mean, listen, we have a terrible history in this state, in this country, with like forgetting what people have done wrong. So like, let's just continue that, like, whatever.
We got 4 great topics left. Back half of the show. I added one secretly.
You son. I did not want to talk about this
Why?
because it's a sham, dude. Like this whole thing was a
Did we
sham.
get bamboozled?
Of course you did, and you bought it, and that's why they made it free. They knew they were effing you. Like,
Did we get bamboozled?
Yeah, man. They couldn't just f you and not kiss you. So
Did we get ShamWow?
yeah, man. Because I mean, we all watched it like idiots. Like we all
I
piled
was
up.
so excited. God damn. And I watched all the training videos where he looked incredible.
They sucked you in and they told him to pull his punches.
And he did.
Yeah, he was like,
he had an opportunity in the final round with 10 seconds left when they did the little, hey, you got 10 seconds left, to do the funniest thing. When Jake Paul did his little, hey, I'm going to bow down to you, Tyson could have laid his ass out.
Listen, man, all I'm saying is that fight was rigged. And I'm not even because I don't want to give either one of them any type of like respect. This was terrible.
We got bamboozled.
Because the training videos, no matter how long the training videos were, like it was a better showing on Mike then. If they were worried about his stamina, they should have did a shorter version of a fight. In limited. I mean, they was already doing like only 2 minute rounds or whatever. But it just something seemed off about the fight to begin with. It was a money grab and we all fell for it.
Absolutely bamboozled.
That's why it was free. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
now, did you watch the whole card?
The girls' fight was where it was at, but that girl got screwed. But she got screwed though.
She got screwed
because the girl headbutted her like 4 times.
She did, and it was funny because I'm on 2 sides of the fence here. So not being like a huge boxing fan, right? When the manager starts running his mouth, when the boxer starts running him out, like she's literally dirty. She fights dirty. I'm like, you're throwing away your chance at the rematch.
You don't want a rematch at this point. She's done it twice.
The chick is the champ. You want the rematch because the other woman's a champ.
Nah, but she did it. She already fought twice, and they've done the same thing to her. She's won off split decision twice. So she's not gonna beat her unless she knocks her out. And she's not gonna get a chance to knock her out because the way she fights, she's coming in head first and she's headbutting the shit out of her. She headbutted her the first time too.
Yeah, like, that was a great fight.
Her eyelid was just hanging over, and she was still
like, hello.
They were like push it up, they like cover it up, and then it would droop back down.
Nah, and apparently Netflix cinematography director was like, okay, zoom in on that.
Oh yeah, let me get some of this cut action. And so at the end of the day, like I think we got a better undercard fight than we got undercard fight than we got main card. But like, let's be honest. I mean, we were bamboozled and kind of got played on that one. But I think as a whole, like boxing is a dying sport anyway, unless you're watching like Tank or somebody fight. So I mean, I think that was just
unless you're watching Mike Tyson fight.
I mean, I like Tank. Like I like Tank, Gervonta Davis. I like Tank. But
that is.
You kind of got to be a fighter, a boxer, like kind of to like that. But I like Tank Davis. So I mean, if you're gonna watch Tank, then okay, then that was good. But everybody else is kind of like for the break because then they got guys like Ryan Garcia running around, and he's like bad for the sport. The dude's a psychopath.
Cool. All right, here we go. The big 3.
And I ain't talking about. Or talking about Juicy Drake. This freaking guy.
Easy. We got the Sixers. We got the Sixers, and then we got football. I'm actually gonna put the wheel away. We got this.
Let's go.
Joel Embiid.
This punk
is playing. First off, he was not ready to come back. Okay.
Young punk.
We can actually see that he's not ready to come back. We can see that the Sixers at 2-11 are absolutely in a desperate need for him to be back, but he's just not there. You have seen him look like shit. You have seen him pushing reporters. You have seen him get fined for saying and running his mouth. Have we now passed the prime of Joel Embiid.
Nah, okay. So you know how like when they say winning hides everything and losing exposes everything. We're in that stage where losing is exposing all of the flaws of Joel Embiid, which we thought were like really cool things. Like he was a troll and he kind of just did his own thing and he kind of just didn't listen to reporters and just wasn't, he was just like above the fray. And it was all cool while he was winning and he was being very dominant. But right now, I think we've almost forgot how dominant he was because he really didn't dominate the Olympics and he really hadn't dominated really since the MVP campaign. And so,
Correct.
and I don't even really think the Sixers are his team anymore. I think it's Tyrese Maxey's team. And they're bringing in all this help to help him. But if you're that dominant, you don't need the help. But he's now showing bad behavior by showing up late to practices. He's having to be told proper etiquette by the baby. The baby's having to tell
He's
him.
literally having Tyrese Maxey yelling at him.
Yeah. Like, so at some point.
How soon until Maxey's like, I want to trade?
I don't think Maxey's going to want to trade. I think they're going to trade Joel Embiid. I think Joel's going to be the last. I don't know what you can get. I mean, you can still get something for him because, I mean, he's still got an amazing skill set.
Well, when he comes back, like fully healthy, sure. I think Paul George has kind of been the bust that not a bust, but he's just why are we getting used car parts at this point?
Well, I mean, like I said, like we assumed when they started this experiment that you get a Paul George that was healthy, and you just haven't gotten a Paul George that's been healthy. So again, we're in the fray. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I do. Is Jared McCain the rookie of the year?
Yeah.
By like a lot, right?
Right now he is. But like I said, there's time. Like a lot of these other rookies aren't getting, and you could say Luke Connect maybe for the Lakers. I mean, you got some.
I mean, you know, you can't say Kmet for the Lakers because he's playing on a team where LeBron's playing every night, or most nights, where Anthony Davis is playing most nights. McCain is literally leading the Sixers single-handedly right now.
Right, as of today. But
Sure.
But Maxey's gonna come back in a couple weeks. He'll be back and he'll be in full effect. I mean, and you're gonna have your normal
You're gonna hit a
program.
rookie wall.
I don't know if that's gonna happen. I think it's more of like you're gonna get back to your regular scheduled programming. And guys are gonna get more tape on him, of course. And then those, or you can just pull a Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey had found his rhythm, and he kind of just continued to like get better and better and better. So
I mean, look, it would not be the first time that a Sixer has won Rookie of the Year in recent memory.
Oh yeah, like it was Ben Simmons, right?
Ben Simmons. Didn't Markelle Fultz win?
That didn't happen.
I don't think so. Didn't Michael Carter Williams win though?
Who?
Michael Carter Williams.
The only one that won out of that whole process was probably Ben Simmons. Now he was a sophomore at that time.
I think you're wrong. Yes, he. Ben Simmons. Okay, yeah. Look at me being right. Ben Simmons and Michael Carter Williams have both won the Rookie of the Year in recent years.
When was Michael Carter Williams?
2014.
I was in the service. I was deployed that year. I don't even remember what happened. Okay. Where's Michael Carter Williams now?
Couldn't tell you.
Is he alive?
Yeah. He plays for the Magic.
Oh, Michael Carter Williams. No, I don't know who he is.
Now, I don't know when he last played for the Magic.
No, I don't remember him. You
don't remember him?
Nah, brother.
Anywho, Jerry McCain is absolutely. Oh no, he's a former. He doesn't play anymore.
If the season was over today, I give him Rookie of the Year.
Easily. All right. Switching gears. Do you want to talk about my Eagles or your Steelers first?
Let's go you first because like I'm on a high horse right
The Philadelphia Eagles had their first humongous test. Against the Commanders last week.
now. Yeah,
They held up.
they aced.
After they came back from the bye week, they realized what they had to do. Our defense is arguably the best defense in football.
Get behind us.
Arguably.
That's so you have to argue. You go ahead to argue.
Arguably. It's a really exciting time to be an Eagles fan right now. Now, we have a big battle this weekend against the Rams, and they have a lot of big wide receivers. They got some wide receivers.
Hold on, wait a bit. This is definitely different than the shit you were saying like less than 2-3 weeks ago.
Agreed, because I wasn't sure coming out of the bye week what we were going to be, and then we started playing mediocre against mediocre teams. Then they
haven't you guys won 6 straight?
We have won 6 straight, and 2 of those games we haven't let up a touchdown. I wasn't ready to fire anybody. I said, look, if he blew another game the way he blew the game based on coaching decisions, we fire Sirianni. But he has reined it in, and he has realized that the run game is where we need to be. He has not been a factor. He has not been on TV. He has not been a big talking point recently. He's letting the players play.
That man has changed absolutely nothing.
Yes, he has. He is not going for it ridiculously. He's letting our field goal kicker kick, as evidenced by Jake Elliott missing a bunch of field goals last week. Right? He is allowing the players to play. Lane Johnson goes to him and goes, listen, we need to run the ball more. What are they doing? They're running the ball more. He's letting Kellen Moore coach. He's letting Vic Fangio coach. His job is not to coordinate. His job is to coach. And he has not been the subject of any issues over the last couple of weeks.
You have not made him a subject of this. He
hasn't been. He hasn't been.
I'm gonna just say it right here, and you guys aren't gonna want to hear it. We had this conversation 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. They won, and you treated a win like a loss, and that's when you have a problem, and that's when you have your first problem. When you start treating wins as losses, you are in the wrong business because it's hard to win in the NFL. Everyone knows it. Like. And to be honest, dude, you rattled off 6 wins, and that man hasn't changed a damn thing.
Yes, he has. I'm telling you, he has.
He can't. He didn't change anything. You were already running Saquon. Like Saquon, that's why he's been the damn MVP candidate because y'all have been running this man. Listen, nothing has changed
since the bye week. Since we were 2-2, he has changed what he was doing. Before the bye week, I was ready to axe the dude.
Right? Okay, so I'm glad you. First step is admitting
because even our wins were not wins, and it was a repeat of the colossal collapse from last year. Since the bye week, there has been a change.
Do you know what the change is? You have the most dominant running back in the NFL, and because you have the games, he just gets better as the games go. Just like at the end of the game, he just completely took over. So, like, it's less about what Nick Sirianni is doing and more about you have a great team because you still can't throw the ball worth of shit. Like, you still can't throw it.
We can. It's just we don't have to.
You can't throw it. Like, let's be honest. You can't throw it. And I'm going to say it because I love you guys. And I love you guys enough to tell you the truth. You can't throw the ball. If you're asking Jalen Hurts to make more throws than he's running, then you guys are in dire straits.
I don't want him to. That's not this Eagles game. But he needs to be able to make the throws when he actually is going to use the play action has to be a actual threat where I'm going to pretend to give the ball to Saquon, pull it back, and then look at all my open receivers. Look at Devontae Smith. Look at A.J. Brown. When he does that, it's fine. Or then he tucks it down and run. The issue is that you were trying to turn Jalen Hurts into a drop back passer for the last calendar year, and that's not who he was. You gave him an actual running back, and look how this offense has flourished.
And you let him run the ball. You have to let him run the ball.
Recipe for success that the Ravens have.
Yep, it's the same thing.
When the Ravens went against your Steelers, see how I did that there? When the Ravens went against the Steelers, they did not give the ball to Derrick Henry very much. They asked Lamar Jackson to throw the ball 30-some times, and y'all got and the Steelers got the win.
I'm going to be honest. As a person who watched that game as a Steelers fan, I realized we had them when every time they would give it to Derrick Henry, he was going backwards.
Correct.
And then the best runs that he had were wiped off the board from them holding JJ Watt or TJ Watt. And they can't
And Justin Tucker all of a sudden forgetting how to make a field goal.
he can't be stopped. Like TJ Watt is a grown man out there. And he does not care about who he's hitting.
Watt? Is he the best Watt?
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely the most healthy Watt because JJ was gone like all the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, his ability is great, but his ability is his availability because he's always there, ever present, hard charger.
Y'all can't score.
We don't need to necessarily score if you can't score on us. So,
I mean, listen, and that's what look. I've been saying this for weeks on every show that I've been on. Defense wins championships, right? The Philadelphia Eagles team, the defense has kept them in a lot of games. The offense is starting to click. The Steelers, the defense won you that game. The defense and Chris Boswell won that game for you guys.
And they're in there when they needed to score a touchdown, they did. And they really, really needed it.
It's the Ravens.
You don't need what was the score? 15 to 19?
18 to something. You literally had Chris Boswell to the Ravens. Y'all didn't get in the end zone.
Because when we got down there, we just did stupid stuff. He threw two interceptions in the end zone. So I mean, it's not like you. And then of course, Tomlin's always gonna take the points. So even when you could have pushed it on fourth down, which I don't think you can continue to beat teams with field goals. I think at some point that your luck's gonna run out. So we'll have to fix that out. And we'll have to get better in the reds. However, our defense is very, very good. And that's not only the moniker for the Steelers.
Okay. So as we wrap up.
Something happens in a couple weeks, though, Chip.
What that? We play each other?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's all that talk, George.
No. All right.
What's your prediction?
Here's my question. As of November 19th, 10:50 at night, as we begin to wrap.
Yeah.
Will the Steelers be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Ooh.
After what I've seen.
Now ask me about the Eagles.
Will the Philadelphia Eagles be the representative when we get our Turnpike Bowl?
No.
Damn, no.
The Detroit Lions are too good.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something about Detroit. And this is I should have talked about it when we talk about NFL. Detroit has got that thing where they know how to get there, but they can't win it. They can't win the big one. So in the playoffs, they'll struggle in the playoffs when everybody's good. Because they can beat the teams that are bad. That's what that's what kind of makes good teams and then great teams. Like great teams can beat the good teams. Good teams can only beat the bad teams. And so they just rack up a bunch of wins. I don't think their defense has enough to stop a high-powered offense like your offense.
I will say that they've been racking up some injuries pretty quickly. So as of right now, I see a Lions-Bills Super Bowl.
I don't. Not even close.
But we'll see as health also factors in.
Bills can't beat the Ravens or us. They can't beat the Ravens. Like they don't have a defense that can stop the run, and Derrick Henry's gonna eat. And to be honest, the only team I've really seen stop the Ravens has been us on the run. Derrick Henry has absolutely run through everybody else.
He had one bad game the week before too. I forget who they played. And I say bad game like 60s.
Yeah, I mean, I will give you that. I think that the Bills don't have enough. I don't think the Bills will be here. I think it'll be the Ravens or the Eagles, the Ravens or the Steelers. And I think it's becoming evident to everyone else. And then everybody's saying now that like when CMC comes back, they're going to be a problem. I don't see that happening. I think that
they suck.
Oh, I ain't seen him.
He's been back.
He's back?
CMC's been back for 2 weeks.
I think it's probably Debo's crazy clothes that kind of throw me off.
The Bengals held Derrick Henry to 68 yards on 16 carries.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a day where Lamar threw for, 390? Hold on.
Well, that's a part of it, and that's why
touchdowns.
And that's why they thought they could do it on the Steelers. But the Steelers just have a better defense than the Bengals. The Bengals don't have a defense.
Nope.
The Bengals can't stop a nosebleed.
Listen, it's an exciting time to be an Eagles and a Steelers fan, and in a couple of weeks we're gonna be talking some mad shit to each other.
Seagulls. One of us will lose before then, though. Oh, we'll be looking
I
around.
haven't fully thought about this week's game, but I'm definitely nervous about the Rams.
The Rams.
Yeah,
This guy stop. Was it Mikal?
Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup,
The cup is always full. One
and
boy,
that's
two cups.
gross. I'm done with you. All right, I'm Chip,
I'm drip.
and we out of this. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.